physical weight is feeling healthy.
Running at 5K.
Loving how I feel in my clothes. Herbs can help you achieve your goals through a range of personalized weight loss treatments, including GLP-1 injections, and support for nutrition, hydration, sleep, and movement. Go for your goals with Herbs. GLP
All right, so there's a lot of people out there. A lot of people have been gathering outside this federal courthouse. All right, so it gets put back and forth with all the chaos out there. This is another angle. Diddy could possibly be walking out of here soon. So we're getting this bail hearing underway shortly. The last report we have is Combs' family is arriving at court ahead of bail hearing. So they've arrived. Don't know how long this bail hearing will be, but I don't think it will be that long.
Bail here.
We shall see.
If anything, he's more likely to dip out of the country now than before he went to trial. Why are they giving him bail now but not before?
Bail hearing, so we'll see if he makes bond, and then we'll know if he comes out or not, or they whisk him through the side, or he goes back to MDC, signs some paperwork, and gets released there. And I'm sure some media outlet will be somewhere waiting for him to be released, if he gets released. If. Very good chance he could not be released, too. I'm leaning towards he will, if I could be a betting man. But it's crazy. We never even thought of this where we were at today. I mean, a lot of us yesterday left the chat, and we're talking about 15 to 20,000 of you left the chat yesterday thinking this dude's getting convicted of a lot of stuff. And here we are. Convicted with the least serious charge. The least serious, 2 counts, the least serious charge. Absolutely insane. Now the judge might factor in conduct and everything. Conduct, preponderance of the evidence. We'll see. We'll see in determining bond. Will be interesting though. Can't really say Diddy's going to be a flight risk. I know some people said, well, he's just going to jet and leave the country. He got all this money, but why would you leave if you know? Why would you be that close to leave and get your? He'd get more time on bail jumping than he would on the time he's going to get.
If he leaves the country, there are 9 extra right to go to the U.S. country.
Come on in.
I want to live in those countries, but
We shall see. So we're getting this bail hearing underway shortly. We're going to be hearing
bail. How do I hear bail?
see what's up.
So if you get found
Return to the courthouse. Police are out in the street directing traffic around a crowd of onlookers and journalists. A lot of people outside. Cassie's attorney asked judge to reject Combs' release. Also the stylist, Deontay Nash, individual that testified during the course of his trial, the one that jumped on Diddy's back after Diddy, seeing Diddy assault Cassie, trying to stop Diddy from assaulting Cassie, and all the things he saw Diddy do to Cassie. He is saying that Diddy is dangerous. Poses a serious and imminent threat to victims, witnesses, and the broader community. That's what his words were. I can say without hesitation that he is a serious, immediate threat to victims, witnesses, and the broader community. His pattern of violence, particularly while engaged in the trafficking of individuals for prostitution, combined with unchecked substance abuse, makes it clear he is not ready to re-enter society safely and responsibly. Coming from Deontay Nash, who we listened to testify. And I thought he was one of the mellow ones that really didn't hate Diddy or like that. Like he's just like kind of like, yeah, I'm here on a subpoena, but it didn't seem like he was like ham against Diddy like that. You just heard his letter. I mean, now this dude's in fear. He's like, no, he can't come out. Don't release him. Some people think Diddy's sick enough to be able to be bonded out and go do a freak off tonight at 2-Star.
I bet you
Like
they will,
tonight,
because
like a celebration.
they'll be celebrating a freak off tonight.
Freak off. 5:04 p.m. Holmes' attorney Mark Alexander Shapiro and Teddy Garrigos emerged from the holding still. Still waiting for Sean Combs to be brought into the courtroom by the U.S. Marshals. 5:04. So he's not in yet. Now you're going to see people coming out. That's going to be from the end of the day when the court is no longer in session.
It's for P. Diddy to get his freak off.
So he's still in the holding tank. Some people say this is kind of special treatment right now, allowing a defendant after being found
For real.
guilty of a crime to stick around the courthouse for all these parties to come up with a bail bond proposal argument, like a whole bail hearing after,
You gotta bail after you've been found guilty.
which it's been hours now.
They're more likely to run after you've been found
I
guilty.
mean, we're talking about early this morning. We're talking about like 11ish. Judge told them to come back 1 o'clock with proposals. They were late. Eventually say, I'm gonna put up a 5 p.m. bond hearing and have like an all-out bond hearing where they're gonna argue back and forth. Maybe this lasts to 8 p.m. I don't know how long it lasts. After hours bond hearing like this? Only if you're Diddy, I guess. Only if you're rich. Only if you're famous. If you're poor, no have no money. We're just average citizens. If any one of us out there, right? Any one of us. If there's no celebrities in the chat, most of us in the chat, we wouldn't get this opportunity like this. Going through crime, though. Which is up in that position. But you get what I'm saying? It seems like they've been bending over backwards with preferential treatment. Diddy's allowed to communicate with his family while he's in trial. He's allowed to sit back and whisper with his mom when the government's pretty much saying that his mom's name's on stuff and documents. Speculation about his mom's role in all this, right? Diddy's allowed to sit there and whisper with family members in the course of a trial when the marshals are just letting him do that. Tory got sequestered in a major high-profile event. The tourists just can go home without any protection, security by marshals or anything. Only 20 walk home. Drive, take a bus, just go home. Right? So we are here, we're waiting for Combs to enter the courtroom. Combs, come on in. Oh, I'm sure he's happy. Combs has been brought in. Alright, Combs is in the courtroom. He has been brought in. Sits next to Teddy Garrigos, reading. Mark walks over to the lectern, then back to his seat. Like a little podium there. Microphone. Alright, prosecutors are waiting at the table, waiting on the judge. Alright, judge, waiting on the judge. Will he or will he not be granted bail? Stay tuned, we shall see. Will he or will he not be granted bail? Crazy, folks. Continuous coverage of Sean P. Diddy Combs JLR investigates Will he or will he not be granted bail? We shall.
Wayfair presents bedroom furniture.
And that's good.
Matters in reference to this case.
I don't know.
Then we'll do the civil suits. We'll be starting to tap into the civil suits and other legal matters. And following the case, did he come? What will Diddy be up to next? What will he do? What power moves, any moves that he makes? What is his next step? Damage control. Try to restore. What's his plans here? They said he's been with a report. Remember what we just heard earlier about them saying, well, his plane is on the West Coast. He don't even access, like he's leasing out his plane for people to use. They say he made $4 million since he's been incarcerated just by leasing out his plane. $4 million he's made since he's been sitting in jail.
Holy shit.
Leasing people have been renting out the plane, private plane that he had. He's probably using that to pay off his attorneys, but hey, he's making money while he sits in prison. He's making money off music too, and any other business ventures that he's still involved that haven't been by the United States government. And that's a whole other conversation too. Will the government seize his assets? Will they go after him? Will the IRS go after him? This is crazy that you had multiple raids when it comes to this case. You had Star Island raided by Homeland Security, Los Angeles, Homeland Security, KK's phones, Brendan Paul, Jane's house, all these raids done. So much evidence collected, and he walks away pretty like unscathed on that sense. We got a will the judge grant bail for Diddy until sentencing? And you see, a lot of people, 68% of the people say, yeah, he's going to get that $1 million bond. 68%, 32% say no. So we'll see where this goes. Will he or will he not make bond? Waiting on the judge. That's what we're waiting for. We're waiting for the judge. Let's get JLR to 400,000 subscribers. Yeah, help us get to 400,000 subscribers. If you haven't subbed up, please hit that sub button. Very easy. It's in the corner. Hit it up, and we really appreciate that. We will continue to cover this case and lots of other criminal cases around the world and interesting things. Appreciate that. Thank you, KC. Book. Thank you, KC. My eyes are kind of little staring at the screen. Sometimes I've seen letters backwards. I don't know what's going on. Long day, crazy stuff. Or maybe this whole world is backwards. Because I've been seeing some really wild things right now. Wild stuff. Alright, so we're here. Hey, Restored Faith, thank you for the 5 gifted memberships. 5 more members of JLR Investigates. Courtesy.
I got a new subscriber.
Thank you. Oh, and 5 more. Sunshine. 5 more. 5 more gifted memberships. Sunshine and Tan Line. We got an update. The 5 more gifted memberships. Restored Faith and Sunshine and Tan Line. Sunshine and Tan Lines and Restored Faith. Thank you. Now let's get to business, shall we? Will or will not Sean P. Combs Bail is denied. It's not easy. Oh,
Yeah, but
it's that easy. No bond. No bond. Hey, it's a victory for the prosecution. No bond. Look
I
at
gotta say,
that.
That's pretty crazy.
I've read the party submission and others. The jury convicted the defendant of count 3 and 5 for the following reasons. Bail is denied. Oh, I didn't expect that.
I did.
He sits in jail. Diddy sits in jail. Thank you, Jonathan Avery. Hey, I'm not wearing JLR phone. For the one gifted membership. Pretty Little Poison. Thank you, Pretty Little Poison. One gifted membership. Memberships are flying out, and bail has been denied. Little good news, I guess. Bail has been denied. No bond. No bond. Thank you everyone for the gifted memberships. Not to forget everyone. Yeah, we just bumped up more. Thank you very much for everyone that gifted the memberships. Thank you. We're almost at
We got a bunch of
$3.99.
microphones outside the front door. Like,
$3.99.
waiting for
Him,
them to come out.
Diddy, bail denied. That's interesting. That's interesting. It seems like the judge is taking this very seriously. And that's, to me, feels like maybe whatever the prosecution says the sentence should be, the judge is going to lean more towards the prosecution and not the defense, because the defense is saying he faces 21 to 27 months. He's already been in 10. But it's crazy because almost like that letter that they sent to the judge, it might have insulted the judge a little bit. Like, are you kidding me? Considering this, you just got lucky, Diddy. You just got lucky. But it seems like the judge is going to go hard here. And it might be an indication that the judge goes far at sentencing. And maybe even enhances it. Bail denied. He took those letters into account. Thank you, Allison. Allison S., thank you. Thank you for the Restored Faith. Thank you so much, Restored Faith. Allison, Restored Faith. Lauren and Tom. Our friends, Lauren and Tom, thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you for the 5 gifted memberships so much. MBS, thank you. Thank you, MBS. Thank you. Gifted memberships too. If they want to grow the JLR army, we're getting our army stronger and stronger. I have a lot to say about this bail being denied. Excellent news there. And might be some really bad news for Diddy when they think that he's just going to walk. I think the judge here, look at this, even if the defendant was solely required to show that he is not a danger to the community, he could not meet that burden. Oh! Interesting. Prior to trial, the court denied bail and sees no reason to reverse it now.
Right. Doesn't make any sense.
The defense conceded to the defendant's violence, pretty much saying, we own it, we own the Cassie video, we own that. So the judge is like, the defense conceded the defendant's violence. So even they admit that he's violent. Look at that, they used it against him. He's using it against them. Their own words. Well, if there's any good news out of this, Diddy stays in jail. If there's any good news out of this, Diddy stays in jail. Ooh. Wild. Wild. Thoughts. Keep your thoughts coming. Probably going to get maybe a press conference outside. Maybe the attorneys come out and speak. But maybe they don't, because they still have to deal with him at sentencing. We shall see. Come on in, JLR, investigate. Bail denied. Bail denied for Diddy. So what's going to happen is, as we previously said, judge will order a PSI, PSR will be done, comprehensive report. Probation department will interview victims, interview Diddy himself. He can choose not to talk. PSR will be done in the presence of his lawyer. He can choose to say things. Look at this. Violence depicted in the video of Cassie. The defense admitted this is a terrible mother. Domestic violence is the issue, is what she said, using this all against him. Well, starting to think the judge here might be the hero. It wasn't only that. There was the London hotel incident. There was violence after the searches in this case. As to Jane, there was of 2024. After the searches of Holmes' residence. This evidence a disregard for the law and the propensity for violence. Really listening in now. Bail denied. Right. See what's being said. Judge should address some other issues too besides this probably. Will the defense appeal? Judge notes that Holmes' personal circumstance do not warrant release. The judge noted that the prosecution appropriately cited the section of the Bail Reform Act that requires Holmes to remain in custody until his sentencing, which has some exceptions. Holmes' circumstances do not warrant those exceptions. The defendant who's been convicted must prove that they argue that Holmes did not meet that burden and prove on behalf of two witnesses who worry for the danger Holmes may pose upon release. Ventura's attorney supplied one of those two letters. New report. NBC News. Supporters disappointed but not angry. In the courthouse, what? Seems like people are more disappointed but not angry inside that courtroom. Supporters of Diddy. The court takes no position on what it will consider as sentencing, nor what sentence it will impose. But here, the burden is on him, and he cannot carry it. The defense argues the guideline starts at 21 months. The U.S. says 51 months. He's done 10 months.
So he might not do that long.
Let's see what he says. judge says to follow this last statement. You've done 10 months. There's a little discrepancy. There's 30 months in between there of what their sides are in their position. That will all be ironed out with the PSI and the argument. Oh, I set sentencing for Friday, October 3rd, 10 a.m. I am willing to expedite.
As far as I know.
Holmes' attorney, we would like it expedited. They want this sentencing quicker than October 3rd, but that's the time we said it would probably be in October.
That's probably a bad idea to rush the judge's sentencing.
The judge goes on to say, we will need an expedited pre-sentencing report from probation, PSI. But I will be available anytime. Yeah, they want to expedite it because Diddy wants to, even if Diddy has to do time, they know he'll do it in a game. They'll get him out of there at the NBC. So they want sentencing as quick as possible so he can get up and go and do that minor time or a little bit of time, sometime. Now, of course, the defense will probably say in the PSR they want him to go home and we'll say halfway house, we'll say something like house arrest or something. The judge is not going to do that, most likely. I mean, just not. Or at least get him out of the NBC. Judge proposes sentencing on October 3rd, 10 a.m.
We've taken our classic chicken sandwich to the next level with juicier, crispier, tastier chicken, crunchier pickles, and creamy mayo, all served with lettuce and tomato on a toasted brioche bun. Try it crispy, spicy crispy, or grilled at Culver's.
Judge says there is a great divide on the sentencing guideline. I see that Ms. Comey has her statute book open. The rule, she says, requires of a report, PSI, instead of a reasoned waiver. Probation may be able to expedite. That means expedite. Probation department does the PSI. Probation department does the PSI. Update me by July 8th at noon. So, it looks like July 8th, they have to give them an update whether the judge will expedite that October 3rd hearing or not. It's a hearing. But as of now, his sentence for 10 a.m. October 3rd. Oh, there's a hearing. They're going to have a hearing on the afternoon of July 8th on this matter. We got a hearing, a new court hearing. See you there. This channel. Watch on this channel for the hearing. We got a hearing. July 8th, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th. Next week. We got a hearing next week. New hearing. Mini hearing. We'll cover. Mark has some things to say, though. Your Honor has a lot of information from presiding over the trial. We want the sentencing as soon as possible. Other Mann Act cases, there is nothing remotely similar to this. ultimately what else Mark says. It's the lead attorney. They want sentencing right away. They want to get him out of there. Of course they want sentencing right away. They want to get him out of there. That's what they want. Because even if he got some time, which I believe he will, get time, get him out of it. Get him out of the MDC. He don't want to be in that MDC. He wants in a better security. He's probably going to a camp now. So crazy. Early in this trial, we were like going to maximum security prison, and now he ends up going to a camp. Minimal time. 2 years at the most. Crazy. How this ends here. Judge went hard. Judge is not the jury. Judge is taking this very, very serious. Judge is not the jury. Imagine if Diddy got a bench trial. Ooh. Imagine if Diddy had a bench trial.
Right.
Camp. Federal prison camp. Those are the most minimal security, usually by military bases or attached to low federal correctional institution lows. They're camps. They don't even have bars. You sleep in dormitories. Inmates go around work. They can walk around. No fences. No fences. They can get furloughs and things like that. Leave. Come back. It's pretty laid back on federal lows. That's where they'll probably go, or maybe a camp, maybe a low with minimal fences. I doubt they would send him to a low though, because the lows are pretty wild. A lot of inmates wilding out at the lows, in the dormitories and everything, up all night playing cards, drinking hooch. Probably go to a camp. Nobody's gonna do nothing to him at camp. Nobody's gonna do nothing. There's no. They don't let violent people at the camp anyway. I would consider his charges violent. BOP might not classify it as violent. Might not. He's not going to maximum security. The USP days, the ADX days are over for Diddy. It's not going to happen with Diddy on this trial. Hey, Hawaii, Rochelle O. Thank you very much, Rochelle O. Thank you from Hawaii. 3 a.m. Hawaii time. Rochelle, thank you. Aloha, Hawaii. Hello, Hawaii friends. Hawaii. We start out at 8:50 in the morning. Rochelle says she's on at 3 a.m. watching this. 3 a.m. from Hawaii. Wow. Thank you.
You don't have to be a VIP to get more than just savings with Geico. Every customer.
Get more than just savings. Get more with Geico.
France and Spain. Spain didn't jump on, but they will. By the way, guaranteed they will. That was the only country that sort of tried to hold back on putting up the money. But just so you know, they said, it's unbelievable what's happened to the USA. You were a dead country. We didn't respect the country, the leader. You were dead as a doornail. One said to me, you went from being a dead country, you are right now the hottest country anywhere in the world. The whole world is talking about the USA, and everybody wants a part of it, and they're pouring into our country, and you're going to see those numbers. Thank you for the question. Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have a question about trade. Secretary Bessent has said that he hopes tariff deals with major partners will be done by Labor Day. So if some deals are not done by your July 9th deadline, will some countries' tariffs go back up, or will they stay where they are
Well,
now?
there's some countries that are used to ripping us off, to be honest with you. I don't want to name them, but you sort of can name them. And they're so used to just, taking billions and billions of, look, we had a trade deficit of more than $1 trillion. Think of $1 trillion, a trade deficit. That's because nobody cared. We cared a lot. When I took in hundreds of billions of dollars in tariff. We had the greatest economy in history up until now. I think we're going to blow it away. But during my time, and especially prior to COVID, we had the greatest economy in the history of our country. I think we're going to blow it away now based on the kind of numbers that we're seeing. But some countries are very angry because they've been ripping us off for years. They've been making billions and billions of dollars. There was nobody to negotiate with. They could do whatever they want. They charged us tariffs, by the way, at numbers that we've never seen before. And we ended up losing much more than $1 trillion a year. $1 trillion a year on trade. And now they're being met with a force that's far greater than them. And they don't like it. So they're upset. Because instead of making, $5 billion, they're going to break even. Well, they'll make a little bit. I want to be nice. They'll make a little bit. Oh, we'll make a little bit. It's a big difference. Yeah, please go. But red.
Is there any more information on the special prosecutor? So many Americans still have questions about the 2020 election. And speaking of rogue judges, would you consider appointing somebody at DOJ maybe to investigate the judges that allowed for the political persecution of you, your family, and your supporters during the...
Traveling solo doesn't mean being disconnected.
Hope so. I hope they're doing things because that election was rigged and stolen, and we can't allow that to happen. A lot of people tell me, sir, you just won the greatest election in the history of our country. You won at numbers that won all 7 swing states, won the popular vote, won everything. Sir, go on with your life. And many people that say that, good people, friends of mine, then you have people that say that same thing, go on with your life, but you have to find out what happened because you can't let that happen again. Look at what this lunatic did. Look at what he did. He opened our borders to people that were murderers, 11,888 to be exact, murderers. And we've captured many of those murderers. And we're bringing them back. Some of them are so dangerous that we don't even want to bring them back. We're afraid they're going to try and come back in. But he allowed people to come into this country, people from mental institutions, insane asylums. That's a mental institution on steroids. People from mental institutions, gang members, drug dealers, people, jails, being emptied out into our country. Venezuela emptied out almost its entire prison population into our country. But I don't want to blame them. Many countries have done that. The Congo, we have a great press conference coming up later, and it's the Congo and Rwanda. They were fighting for years, and it was machetes, it was vicious, it was as vicious, people's heads being chopped off. And I have a man who's very good in that part of the world, very smart, and put them together, and we're signing a peace treaty today. First time in many years they're going to have peace, and it's a big deal. We talk about Russia, and we're working that one. President Putin called up and he said, I'd love to help you with Iran. I said, do me a favor, I'll handle Iran. Help me with Russia, we got to get that one settled. And I think something's going to happen there. But we did some great work. India and Pakistan, that was going to be maybe nuclear. We did that. We did a lot of work. I don't know if there's ever been a president that's done much more. Serbia, Kosovo is going to go at it. There'll be a big war. I said, you go at it. There's no trade with the United States. They said, well, maybe we won't go at it. That's what happened with India and Pakistan. I was negotiating with both of them, and I said to Scott, I said to Howard, cancel all deals with India and Pakistan. They're not trading with us because they're in a war. They call back, what do? I said, look, you want to have trade with the United States, it's great. But you want to go and start using nuclear weapons on each other, we're not going to allow that. And they both agreed. Both have great leaders. They both agreed not to do it. So we did a lot, but I appreciate that question.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Mr. President. I was just speaking with Senator Ron Johnson on the One Big Beautiful Bill, and he says he really wants to get to yes for you and get this accomplished.
He does. He's a good man.
But he also said that he needs more time, and he is not certain that the July 4th deadline is possible.
Well, then he's not such a good man.
Because there's too much work to do.
He's a good man. Ron Johnson's doing a good job. He's very committed. Every Republican senator is committed. And, you could have a couple of grandstanders, in all fairness. You could have somebody else. And it's very dangerous because our country would go from being the most successful country in the world to who knows what happens with a 68%, think of it, 68% tax increase. That was given by the Democrats because they like high taxes. I don't know what happened. All my life, I'd grow up and I'd watch politicians talking. I'd say, oh, that's fun. And they were always saying, we will cut your taxes. We will cut your taxes. I never heard it. They say, we will raise your taxes. And they elect people like this guy in New York that maybe has a chance. I find it hard to believe, but he maybe has a chance. They want to raise your taxes. So they want to see a 68% tax increase. That's more money than anybody can afford. You'd go into a depression if that ever happened. So I think there's a lot of pressure to get that approved.
Is the July 4th deadline to you? If
it's important. It's not the end all. It can go longer, but we'd like to get it done by that time, if possible. Look, we have a lot of very committed people, and they feel very strongly about a subjects that you're not even thinking about that are important to Republicans. The problem we have is that it's a great bill. It's a popular bill, but we'll get no Democrats only because they don't want to vote for Trump. If that bill was their bill, oh, they would be so happy. It's so great for our military. It's great for everything. And they would normally vote, but because their hatred of Trump, they have Trump derangement syndrome at levels never seen before. And instead of voting for a tax cut, they're voting for a tax increase of 68%. They're voting to destroy Social Security, destroy Medicare, and destroy Medicaid. And we're voting to make them perfect and to make them better, make them stronger and better. They're going to destroy Medicaid and they're going to destroy Medicare, and Social Security will follow. If you vote for the Democrats, you're dead on those three things.
Mr. President, on a related subject, many Democrats have said that they are not going to support crypto bills in Congress only because of you and your family's personal crypto ventures. And these votes...
On December 14th, 2012, my 7-year-old son, Daniel, was shot to death in his first grade classroom in Sandy Hook Elementary School. The shooter carried a semi-automatic rifle and killed 26 people in about 4 minutes. Highly lethal weapons can take more lives in a shorter amount of time. Each round can inflict more harm on the human body than a typical handgun. People exhibiting warning signs of violence have still been able to buy these kinds of firearms to carry out our nation's deadliest mass shootings. So now, Congress is working on solutions to prevent school shootings, like the kind of legislation that might have saved my sweet little Daniel from being murdered. Please add your name to our petition now and demand Congress take action to restrict access to highly lethal weapons and protect more children from gun violence. Thank you.
Turn left.
So it's become amazing. I mean, it's the jobs that it produces, and I notice more and more you pay in Bitcoin. I mean, people are saying it takes a lot of pressure off the dollar, and it's a great thing for our country. So I don't care about investing. You know, I have I have kids, and they invest in different things. They do believe in it. But I'm president, and what I did do there is build an industry that's very important. And you know, if we didn't have it, China would. Okay. Go ahead. With the glasses, gentlemen, go ahead, please. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. President. So, are you going to confront sanctuary states like, for instance, California, that keep supporting illegal immigration and then these people work?
Yeah, we're giving them a hard time.
And also, for a policy question.
They don't have a governor in California. They have a man that wants to give away everything to people that nobody's seen before. If we didn't go into Los Angeles with the military, which did a fantastic job, but if we didn't go into Los Angeles bringing in the National Guard, I would have brought the military if it was necessary, because we have the right to. That was another thing upheld by the Supreme Court. But if we didn't go in with the National Guard and be strong and tough, you wouldn't maybe have Los Angeles. It would be like the rest of California, the rest of Los Angeles. They lost 25,000 houses in a fire. They should have lost none. You know, I sent the water down. I had to break into their water supply because they just refused to do it. They're crazy. There's something wrong with it. They have plenty of water. They don't have droughts or anything. They have plenty. We let it come down from the Pacific Northwest. They routed all the water out into the Pacific Ocean for environmental reasons, okay? And now you have 25,000 houses, none of which would have burned down if you had the water. They didn't have water. They didn't have water for the fire pumps. They didn't have water in the sprinkler systems that people put in. So the answer is we're going to work with governors. We're going to work with radical left Democrats and Democrats, and we're going to make it good for everybody. We'll have to stop the crime in this. Or in the case of the cities, I think I can say just about all cities with heavy crime are Democrats. Go ahead. Yeah, with the glasses. I'm with you. Go ahead, yes. Yeah, no, the man behind you, yeah, please.
President Trump, Anthony Mashak from Africa, Lebanon. I want to ask you regarding the threats posed by Iran adding operating in the US.
Subscribe, share, thumbs up, yo.
Lebanon, because Hezbollah is as well part of Iran's adding. Is there any time frame in Lebanon regarding disarming Hezbollah in Lebanon?
Rascal up to no good.
It's a great place.
I'm their number one supporter.
The professors, doctors, and had an incredible history. And hopefully we can bring it back again. I just appointed a friend of mine who's Lebanese. And I didn't know he was Lebanese.
You are.
I've known him for 20 years. Very, very successful.
Yeah, I hit the thumbs up, I hope.
I just appointed him. And I said, why would you want that? He said, because I was born there, I was raised there, I love it.
Your destination is on the right.
It was very dangerous going to Lebanon as ambassador. And he said, that's what they say, but I don't care about danger. I mean, this is a guy that is just a very big business guy.
Alright, sounds good. I don't drink beer, though. I'll smoke weed, I don't drink beer.
We're with Lebanon all the way. We'll try and straighten it out. Threaten my life? Yeah, they have threatened. I get that throbbing feeling every once in a while. Get that throbbing feeling, but
like I said, I don't drink beer. Alright, like, subscribe, share, thumbs up. Thanks for watching, yeah.